Hello everyone. Do you know what a bodybuilder is? Well, you must have seen one because they're pretty easy to spot. We can discuss for hours the beauty of this activity, but we can affirm that bodybuilding is much more than simply a sport. It's a way of life, almost like a religion. In order to achieve true results, you have to do more than simply go to the gym. You have to make radical changes to the way you live. And despite everything that's said about bodybuilders, they deserve our respect. We're going to prove it by showing you the stories of some of the most renowned bodybuilders. Let's get it on. Jean-Pierre Fuchs. Swiss bodybuilder Jean-Pierre Fuchs started to train at the age of 16. He quickly realized that his muscles were growing not quite as they did on his partners at such an age. Fuchs started to gain body weight, and at the age of 17 he was already weighing 220 pounds. In 1993, Jean entered the Bodybuilding World Championships, where he placed 4th. The next year in the same contest, he won the main prize. After that victory, Jean's career got better and better. He got propositions from all kinds of magazines and companies to be their image, and he also became the face of different products for sportsmen. Nevertheless, luck was not on Fuchs' side. One day at the gym, in the midst of doing a 675-pound squat, he suddenly collapsed and crashed to the gym floor, hurting his knee. His fellow bodybuilders were horrified when they saw Jean's fracture. He, on the other hand, didn't lose control of the situation, didn't give up to panic, and calmly waited for the doctors to arrive, even joking about the situation. You might think that Fuchs' career was over, but thanks to a superhuman effort, an unshakable self-confidence, and the support of family and friends, Jean-Pierre overcame the process of recovery. Unfortunately, he couldn't return to the physical state he had before the injury. He could only lift moderate weights. Nevertheless, he never stopped training and going to all kinds of bodybuilding contests, proving that the human body and soul can reach impossible limits. Nasser El-Sonbaty. Born October 15, 1965 in Stuttgart, Germany, Nasser El-Sonbaty is considered one of the most eccentric bodybuilders in the world. But as a matter of fact, he wasn't at all interested in bodybuilding when he was young. But everything changed when he went to college. He was curious to see the gym, and the rest is history. Nasser was born to be a bodybuilder. His muscles grew at an incredible rate. The unexpected results went to his head, and he entered different tournaments across Germany, but had no luck in them. Still, he didn't give up and decided to conquer Yugoslavia, and it was in this country when he became famous. Sonbaty then became a member of the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness. Despite Nasser not winning a lot of tournaments, he stood out more than any of his colleagues, not only thanks to his muscles, but because he has several degrees in history, politics, and sociology. Moreover, the sportsman supposedly speaks 7 languages. Paul Dillett. Paul was born on April 12, 1965 in Montreal, Canada, and from an early age he showed interest in different sports, especially soccer, and he was actually pretty good at it. Nevertheless, he made his debut as a bodybuilder in 1991 in a championship in the USA. Sadly, despite his impressive body, he lost. But he didn't give up and tried again the next year. This time, his performance was outstanding. According to one of the judges, had Paul just crawled across the stage on all fours, he would have won anyway. Dillett became famous not only thanks to his body, but also because of the unusual methods of training that he had. One of his ideas, based on a psychological state known as temporary insanity, was very discussed back then. To develop this training, he based himself in a theory that says that only a huge amount of adrenaline allows the human body to work at its full. So Paul decided to use a forest near his house as his personal gym. In a small mountain, a young girl was tied up. Paul was then hypnotized and forced to believe that the damsel had been kidnapped by a monster who wanted to eat her. In theory, this method helped the sportsman to use his deepest instincts and to control them. Dillett himself assures that the method was helpful in different occasions to increase the intensity of his own training. Greg Valentino. As in every sport, bodybuilding has its own rock stars. Greg Valentino is one of the most unusual bodybuilders in the world, especially thanks to his huge arms, which have a circumference of 28 inches. Nevertheless, Greg never intended to become a professional bodybuilder. and he didn't even make any attempt to enter a Mr. Olympia tournament or so. Greg began to exercise at the age of 13. When he was 23, he decided to try steroids and accidentally ran into a drug known as Synthol. As a result, he went from having 18-inch biceps to 28-inch ones. Nowadays, different doctors believe that the size of his arms is going to be a problem for Greg, and they even think he'll have to have his arms removed or reduced by surgery. For now, Greg Valentino refuses any kind of operation. Greg's life, of course, hasn't been easy or even normal. He went to war and killed several people. Moreover, he used to sell drugs and was an addict himself. The drugs were partly responsible of his life and his career being ruined. He even spent a few years in prison because of drug trafficking. But right now, this famous bodybuilder is writing an autobiography with the help of a professional writer, where he plans to tell the story of his life and the things he saw and overcame. Greg also has his own column in the magazine Muscular Development, and every day he receives letters from soldiers, prisoners, and of course, bodybuilders. Andreas Münzer. Andreas Münzer, or simply the man without skin, was born and educated in a simple country family. Little Andreas was not a lazy child, and he was always eager to help in the house. So physical work is something he knew from his early childhood. But above everything, Andreas loved all kinds of sports, playing soccer in the summer or skiing and jumping from trampolines in winter. Bodybuilding became a part of Andreas' life merely by chance. The young man entered some courses to become a locksmith, but he had to wait for the bus every day for more than 2 hours. He didn't want to sit and wait, drinking beer or sleeping, so he decided to enter the local gym. Quickly, his fellows at the gym realized that Andreas' muscles were growing at an incredible rate, and so they convinced him to participate in some bodybuilding contests. A second place in his first junior championship was a surprise even for Münzer. What was once a hobby became Andreas' full-time passion. Münzer was always a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger and almost worshipped him. Unfortunately, a 9th place in the Mr. Olympia contest was the best he could do. Nevertheless, the bodybuilder became famous thanks to the prominence of his muscles. The body fat of Andreas' body was only 4%, a number that remains unbeaten to this day. It's a known fact that Andreas used a variety of forbidden medicaments, and that obviously had an effect on his health. On March 13, 1996, a heavy stomach pain sent Münzer straight to the hospital. The doctors attempted to stop the internal bleeding, but their efforts were in vain. The sportsman went into a coma and remained unconscious until he was dead a few days later. The cause of death was a heavy intoxication of the organism caused by the use of anabolic steroids. His liver was about to rot, and his heart had grown to an abnormal size. Ronald Dean Coleman. Ronnie was born on the 13th of May 1964 in Monroe, Louisiana. At school, he dreamed of becoming a policeman. By chance, one day Coleman saw that the precinct was looking for new officers and didn't think twice to apply. Thanks to his job as a policeman, Coleman had a salary and insurance, and most importantly, the possibility to train at the gym in the police station. At the beginning, Coleman's career as a bodybuilder wasn't very successful. Only after 4 years of hard training, the policeman got first place at the Toronto-Montreal Pro 1995 tournament. In 1998, Coleman's purpose was to get in the top 5 of the Mr. Olympia contest. The long-awaited day arrived, and the winners were announced. The 6th place went to Chris Cormier. Ronald was very happy because he'd made it to the top 5. The show went on. Ray, LeBron, Son Batty. There were only 2 contestants left, Flex Wheeler and Ronald Coleman. Ronnie was happy and proud of what he thought was going to be a very respectable 2nd place, but when the jury announced that he was the winner, Coleman passed out. He doesn't remember Wheeler leaning to help him or Cormier trying to get him up. Ronnie saw all that later when he watched it all again on TV. This victory was the beginning of a series of long and successful participations in different professional contests. Nevertheless, in 2014, the sportsman had to undertake back surgery, and the doctors believed it was the end of Coleman's career. But 1 week after the operation, Coleman was back in the famous gym Metroflex and intended to keep competing. We don't know what's coming next for Ronnie, but we certainly wish him luck. Nick Scott. The next story could easily be the script for a Hollywood movie, and believe it or not, it is completely real. At school, Nick was a soccer lover and dreamed of becoming a professional player, but all his dreams and hopes were destroyed on the 17th of August 1998. When he was on his way to a training session, One of the wheels of his car exploded, and after several turns, it fell off a bridge. The accident tied Nick to a wheelchair forever. Apart from the physical consequences of the accident, the psychological trauma after the accident was really serious. Seeing his future destroyed, the boy was heavily depressed and getting really fat. Only Scott knows why, but 6 months after the accident, the young boy decided that it was too soon to give up on life. It was then when he decided to visit the gym and start training, leaving his pity for himself behind. After 8 years of training and having overcome a lot of obstacles, Nick participated in all kinds of bodybuilding contests around the world. In 2009, he became a member of the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness. Nowadays, Nick Scott is a symbol of willpower and an example to all the people who want to find themselves after surviving incredible accidents. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.